Welcome to the Lincoln Bio Podcast, your one-stop destination for life-changing insights on health, wealth, legal education, relationships, and more. Ready to level up? Let's dive into the knowledge designed to transform your life.
Ready to spring clean your life. And I don't just mean your closets this time. Today, we're diving deep into detoxifying from the inside out.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, we're exploring Detox Yourself.
Okay.
It's a book that goes way beyond, just those typical juice cleanses and fad diets.
Yeah, it's a fascinating approach. The book really kind of throws out the old definition of pollution being just, what's in our air and water.
Okay, I admit when I first saw the title, I thought it would be all about physical detox.
Mm-hmm.
But the author's take is way more intriguing. They argue that we're surrounded by mental and emotional, even spiritual pollutants.
Right.
They can be just as harmful as any toxin.
Yeah, and the book really digs into how Western medicine tends to define sickness purely through, things like blood tests.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those times you just feel off?
Yeah.
Even if your doctor says you're fine.
That's exactly what got me hooked.
Yeah.
The author uses this example of someone with perfect blood work who's still battling fatigue and brain fog. It's like their body is sending signals that something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But traditional medicine isn't catching it.
And this is where the book draws a parallel with Eastern traditions like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh, yeah.
These systems view health in a much more holistic way,
Yeah.
considering the mind, body, and spirit as all interconnected.
I see.
So imbalance in one area can manifest as symptoms in another.
So it's not enough to just eat clean and exercise.
Yeah.
This book is arguing we need a full system reboot.
It really is.
I started thinking about how often I define myself just by my job title.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hi, I'm a podcast host.
Yeah.
But what about all the other parts of me? This book made me realize that narrow self-definition might be its own kind of pollutant.
That ties into a key concept in the book, holistic health. It's about acknowledging all these different aspects of ourselves and realizing that true well-being comes from integrating them.
Yeah.
So think about it, listener. Are you defining yourself too narrowly? What other parts of you are waiting to be expressed?
All right, so let's talk about these mental and emotional pollutants. The book calls out limiting beliefs as major culprits. It describes them like filters on reality,
Right.
shaping how we perceive and react to the world around us.
The author uses a great analogy. Imagine wearing glasses that only let you see red.
Yeah.
You'd miss out on the entire spectrum of colors, right?
Right.
Limiting beliefs do the same thing.
Interesting.
For example, if you believe, I'm not good at public speaking, you might avoid opportunities to practice, reinforcing that belief, even if you could actually be fantastic.
What's really eye-opening is the book's claim that we choose these limiting beliefs. It's not that they're just part of who we are. Maybe we pick them up unconsciously. But ultimately, we have the power to examine and challenge them.
And that leads to one of the most thought-provoking parts of the book, the challenge to victim mentality.
Ooh, interesting.
We all have that voice in our head sometimes saying life isn't fair or this is all their fault. But the book asks us to consider if that mindset is actually keeping us stuck.
The book even have a list of questions to help readers figure out if they're falling into the victim trap. Like, do I feel entitled to a life without problems? Or do I constantly blame others for my unhappiness? Answering those honestly was a real wake-up call for me.
It's not about blaming yourself, though.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that if we're constantly playing the victim, we're giving away our power to change things. The book argues that recognizing those patterns is the first step to reclaiming that power.
So let's say we've identified some of these mental pollutants.
Right.
How do we actually detoxify them? The book lays out a 3-step process that starts with taking a hard look at the facts that supposedly support our limiting beliefs.
Okay.
It's not about denying our experiences, but challenging our interpretations. Let's say someone grew up with a parent who constantly criticized their artistic abilities. They might carry the belief, I'm not creative. But the book encourages a different lens. Maybe the parent was projecting their own insecurities or expressing love in a clumsy way. It's about re-examining the story we're telling ourselves. The second step is to overhaul our entire belief interpretation system. This sounds super complicated, but the book breaks it down beautifully.
Right.
It's about consciously seeking out neutral even positive interpretations of experiences,
Right.
rather than defaulting to negativity. It reminds me of cognitive behavioral therapy, which focuses on recognizing and challenging negative thought patterns.
Exactly. It's about retraining our brains to see the world through a more empowering lens. The book even uses the phrase spiritual junk food to describe the negative input we often bombard ourselves with.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense. Think about how doom scrolling through social media or watching negativity-laden news can leave you feeling drained and pessimistic. It's like binging on mental junk food.
The book suggests creating a spiritual junk food list. It could include certain TV shows, social media accounts, even people who consistently bring you down. Just like we try to avoid unhealthy food, we can make conscious choices about the information and influences we allow into our lives.
So it's not just about removing the negative, it's about replacing it with something positive.
Yeah.
The book talks about spiritual nourishment, which would be anything from reading inspiring books to spending time in nature. What resonated with you in that section?
I was struck by the book's focus on identifying your purpose. It argues that we all have a unique purpose, even if it's currently buried under layers of those mental pollutants. And when we're living in alignment with that purpose, our choices naturally become more aligned with what nourishes us.
The book asks some big questions here. What is my purpose right now? Does this purpose truly serve me?
Right.
Does it lead to the life I want?
Yeah.
These aren't easy questions, but they can be incredibly powerful for guiding us towards a more fulfilling life.
And sometimes those questions might lead to uncomfortable realizations. We might discover that we're chasing external validation or clinging to beliefs that no longer serve us. But the book argues that facing those truths is essential for growth and transformation.
So once we've started to clear out the mental and emotional clutter,
Right.
the book dives into some practical techniques for detoxifying on a physical level.
Right.
And this is where it gets back to those more traditional detox methods with a strong emphasis on fasting.
Fasting has been practiced for centuries across various cultures, and the book explores its benefits from both a scientific and spiritual perspective. It's not about starving yourself, it's about giving your digestive system a break and allowing your body to focus on healing and detoxification.
The book actually dives into the science behind fasting, explaining how it triggers autophagy,
Okay.
a cellular process where the body cleanses itself by breaking down and recycling damaged components. This can boost longevity and improve metabolic health, in addition to detoxifying.
It's fascinating how fasting impacts us on a cellular level. The book explores different types of fasts, from the classic water fast to the Daniel fast, which involves abstaining from certain food groups. It also discusses the keto modification for the Daniel fast, which can make it more sustainable for some people.
The book emphasizes that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to fasting.
Right.
You can start with shorter fasts, like a 12-hour overnight fast, and gradually increase the duration as your body adjusts. It also stresses the importance of listening to your body and breaking the fast if you experience extreme hunger or discomfort.
Safety and sustainability are key. The book also highlights the importance of timing calorie intake.
Okay.
It suggests that eating only once a day, a form of intermittent fasting, can enhance the detox process.
And it doesn't just focus on the physical benefits. The book connects fasting back to the mental and spiritual aspects of detox, advocating for incorporating mindfulness practices during the fast, like meditation or journaling. It's about creating a holistic experience where the physical, mental, and spiritual elements work together.
That's such an important point. True transformation happens when we address all dimensions of our being.
This deep dive has already been so insightful. We've gone from redefining pollution to exploring the power of our beliefs and the science behind fasting. It's amazing how Detox Yourself connects these seemingly disparate concepts into a cohesive approach to well-being. But we've still got more to unpack.
We're just getting started. In Part 2, we'll delve into the book's practical strategies for putting all of this knowledge into action. We'll explore techniques for breaking those negative thought patterns, cultivating a positive mindset, and making those detox practices a sustainable part of your life.
So stay tuned, listeners. We'll be right back with more from Detox Yourself. Welcome back, listeners. We're diving deeper into the practical side of Detox Yourself, exploring how to integrate these concepts into everyday life.
I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for that actionable advice. One thing that really stuck with me is the book's emphasis on repetition for rewiring those stubborn negative thought patterns. It's like creating a new mental habit, right? Absolutely. It's not enough to just have a fleeting positive thought. The book emphasizes that consistency is key. It compares rewiring our neural pathways to building a muscle. It takes time, effort, and repeated action to strengthen those new connections.
So it's like hitting the mental gym. What kind of exercises does the book recommend?
It suggests a variety of techniques, including affirmations, visualization, and journaling. Let's take affirmations, for example. Instead of letting that inner critic run wild with thoughts like, I'm a failure, the book suggests consciously replacing them with positive statements. So you might say, I am capable and resilient, and I learn from my mistakes.
I can see how repeating that consistently could start to shift your mindset. It's like replacing those mental junk food snacks with something nourishing.
Exactly. And speaking of nourishment, the book goes beyond just eliminating negative inputs. It also emphasizes the importance of surrounding ourselves with what it calls spiritual nourishment.
This part really resonated with me. It's about curating our mental and emotional environment. Just like we might carefully choose the foods we eat. What kind of things fall under the spiritual nourishment umbrella?
It could involve engaging with content that uplifts and inspires you, whether that's reading books, listening to music, or even having meaningful conversations with people who energize you. It's about seeking out experiences that feed your soul.
The book even suggests making a spiritual junk food list, which I thought was brilliant. It's like identifying those triggers that lead to negative thought patterns or emotional dips.
It's about becoming aware of those things that deplete us versus those that replenish us. It could be certain social media accounts that make you feel inadequate, or news sources that consistently leave you feeling anxious. Just as we might try to limit our intake of unhealthy foods, we can make conscious choices about the information and influences we allow into our lives.
So it's not just about subtracting the negative, it's about adding the positive. Now let's talk about managing those tricky emotions. The book delves into some really interesting techniques for dealing with negativity.
One technique that stood out to me was the idea of consciously choosing the opposite emotion. So if you find yourself feeling resentful, try practicing forgiveness. If anxiety is creeping in, try cultivating a sense of peace.
It sounds almost too simple. Does that really work?
The book explains that our emotions aren't fixed entities. We can actually train ourselves to respond differently to situations. By consciously choosing a different emotional response, we interrupt those automatic negative patterns.
It's like taking control of the narrative in your own mind.
Exactly. It aligns with the concept of emotional intelligence, which emphasizes the ability to understand and manage our emotions effectively.
Another technique the book highlights is gratitude. It suggests actively practicing gratitude rather than just passively feeling grateful. What are some ways to do that?
There are many different approaches. The book mentions keeping a gratitude journal where you write down things you're thankful for each day. You could also try writing thank you notes to people who have positively impacted your life. Even just taking a few moments each day to appreciate the good things in your life can make a big difference.
Research shows that practicing gratitude has so many benefits, from boosting happiness to improving sleep. It's a simple but powerful tool. Now let's shift to the physical detox aspect. Earlier we discussed how the book advocates for fasting. I'm curious to hear more about how to actually incorporate that into our lives.
The book emphasizes the importance of easing into fasting, especially if you're a beginner. Instead of jumping into an extended water fast, start with shorter fasts, like a 12-hour overnight fast. As your body adjusts, you can gradually increase the duration.
That makes sense. It's like any new habit. You need to build up to it.
Exactly. And just like with those mental exercises, listening to your body is crucial. Fasting shouldn't feel like a punishment. The book encourages readers to pay attention to hunger cues and break the fast if necessary. It's about finding a rhythm that works for you.
I appreciate that emphasis on sustainability. There's so much pressure these days to follow rigid protocols, but Detox Yourself seems to be more about personalization.
Absolutely. The book also provides tips for supporting your body during a fast, like staying hydrated, getting enough rest, and engaging in gentle movement.
What about that dreaded energy slump people often associate with fasting? Any advice on how to deal with that?
The book acknowledges that energy dips are normal, especially in the initial stages, but it suggests that as your body adapts, you might find that your energy levels stabilize and even increase.
So it's about pushing through that initial adjustment period. I love how the book frames fasting not just as a physical cleanse, but also a mental and spiritual discipline. It's about cultivating self-control, resilience, and a deeper connection with your body.
It's a practice that can extend far beyond the duration of the fast itself, instilling valuable life skills.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into the practical side of Detox Yourself. We've covered everything from rewiring our beliefs to managing our emotions and incorporating fasting into our lives. But there's still more to explore.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve into the book's insights on the importance of purpose, connection, and aligning our lives with our values.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Detox Yourself. We've covered so much ground, from identifying those sneaky pollutants to practical techniques for mental, emotional, and physical detox.
Right.
But now the big question: how do we make these changes last?
That's where the rubber meets the road, right? The book doesn't just leave us with a toolbox. It provides a roadmap for integrating these principles into a truly fulfilling life.
One of the key themes that keeps popping up is aligning our lives with our values. It's not just about clearing out the junk. It's about building a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
It's like creating a strong foundation for that sparkling clean house we've been working on.
Yeah.
The book emphasizes that detox isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of making conscious choices each day.
And I think that's where having a clear sense of purpose comes in.
Yeah.
The book reminds us that we all have something unique to offer the world, something that gives our lives direction and meaning.
It poses those big, sometimes scary questions like, what is my purpose? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What impact do I want to have?
Yeah.
It can feel daunting, but those questions can be incredibly clarifying.
It's like finally putting the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
When we're living in alignment with our purpose, our actions naturally flow towards what nourishes us.
The book also highlights the importance of connection. We're social creatures, and those bonds with others play a huge role in our well-being. It encourages us to cultivate relationships with people who lift us up, inspire us, and support our growth.
And on the flip side, it talks about setting healthy boundaries with those who might be draining our energy or bringing negativity into our lives.
It's not about cutting people off. It's about protecting our own well-being. It's like creating a safe and supportive space where we can truly thrive.
The book also encourages us to connect with something larger than ourselves.
Yeah.
This could be through spirituality, nature, or a sense of community. Whatever resonates with you.
That sense of connection can provide a profound sense of belonging and purpose, reminding us that we're not alone in this journey.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Detox Yourself, what are your biggest takeaways? What really hit home for you?
For me, it's the reminder that true well-being is a holistic endeavor. It's about acknowledging the interconnectedness of everything: our minds, our bodies, our spirits, and our relationships. And it's a journey, not a destination. It's about making conscious choices every day to nourish ourselves on every level.
I couldn't agree more. This book has been such a powerful reminder that we have more agency over our well-being than we often realize. It's about becoming aware of the pollutants in our lives, both internal and external, and making choices that support our growth and vitality. It's about reclaiming our power.
And it's about remembering that we're not alone in this journey. We all have the capacity to heal, to grow, and to create a life that's truly fulfilling. Detox Yourself offers a roadmap, but the journey is yours to create.
Listeners, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to embark on your own journey of detoxification, whatever that looks like for you. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Start small, be patient with yourself, and celebrate every step you take towards a healthier, more vibrant you.
And remember, you have the power to choose. Choose what nourishes you, choose what uplifts you, choose what aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. The power is in your hands.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Detox Yourself. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. What resonated with you? What steps are you taking to create a more detoxified life? Until next time, keep diving deep.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Link in Bio podcast. Want to dive deeper into today's topic? Grab your copy now. Just click the link in the description. Stay curious, stay empowered, and we'll see you next time.